Start பண்ணுங்க.
So good morning to all present here. So I am Vaideke from the Department of Commerce, Accounting and Finance. So now we are going to discuss about GST, Goods and Service Tax. Before going to this topic, first we have to know what is meant by tax. So first we have to see what is meant by tax. So tax is a compulsory charges levied by the government, collected from the public and utilize it for public welfare. So this is classified into two categories, direct tax and indirect tax. So first we have to see what is meant by direct tax. So direct tax is paid directly to the government by the taxpayer. Income tax and wealth tax is the best example for direct tax. Next we have to see what is meant by indirect tax. So indirect tax is paid directly to the government by the taxpayer. This is called indirect tax. Sales tax, VAT, that means value added tax, and GST. These are the best example for indirect tax. So next we have to see the existing indirect tax structure. So before GST, we have to follow. We follow this type of tax structure. This is categorized into two levels. The central levies and state levies. In central levies, it contains custom duty, excise duty, service tax, and central sales tax. These are all comes under the central levies. In state levies, it contains VAT, that means value added tax, luxury tax, purchase tax, and then entertainment tax, entry tax, and octroi. So these are all come under the state levies. So next we have to see difference between the direct tax and indirect tax. In direct tax, it is levied on income or profit of the taxpayer. In indirect tax is levied on goods and services. And the next one is course of payment. And in direct tax, the tax paid directly to the government. In indirect tax, the tax paid indirectly to the government. That means through the intermediaries. And then rate of tax. In direct tax, fix the rate based on the income and profit of a person. In indirect tax, it's same for all the taxpayers. And then next, in indirect tax, the tax cannot be transferred to other person. But in indirect tax, we can easily transfer the tax from one person to another person. So the next one is nature of tax. Direct tax is progressive in nature, but in indirect tax is regressive in nature. These are all the major difference between the direct tax and indirect tax. So next we have to see GST. So GST is one of the indirect tax. It is a destination oriented tax. So next we have to see the types of GST. There are four types are there: CGST, SGST, and UTGST, and then IGST. So in CGST means Central Goods and Service Tax. This tax is collected by central government only. This tax applicable for goods and services supplied within the state. And SGST means State Goods and Service Tax. This tax is collected by state government only. This tax is applicable on supplied goods and services within the state. In UTGST means Union Territory Goods and Service Tax. This tax is collected by the Union Territory. This tax also applicable on supplies within the Union Territory. And then IGST means Integrated Goods and Service Tax. This tax is collected by the this tax is shared between the central government and the state government. In IGST, applicable on interstate and import transaction. So these are all the four main categories of GST. So next we have to see the supply of goods and services. In supply of goods and services, this is classified into two categories. First one, intrastate supply, and then interstate supply. So first we have to see what is meant by intrastate supply. Intrastate supply means supply of goods and services within the state. That is called intrastate. For example, Mr. A from E Road sold goods to Mr. B. He is in Coimbatore for rupees 10,000. In this transaction, he has to pay both CGST and SGST. because the transaction made within the state. So here intrastate supply is applicable. So next one is interstate supply. So interstate supply means supply of goods and services between the two or more states. That is called interstate supply. For example, Mr. A from Tamil Nadu sold goods to Mr. B in Kerala for rupees 50,000. So in this transaction, he has to pay IGST only because the transaction made between the two states. So here interstate supply is applicable. So these are the two major categories of supply of goods and service. So next we have to see benefits of GST. So the first one is GST is a transparent tax system, and it is a uniform tax system we followed across India. And then in GST we can reduce the tax evasion, and export will be more competitive, and GST is increasing in revenue. That is strengthen the economy and increase the GDP also. That means GDP also. So next one, simplifying the tax filing for business people. So these are all the main benefits of GST. So next we have to see goods not covered under GST. So these type of goods are not covered under the GST. The petroleum products, petrol, diesel, petroleum crude, and then aviation fuel, natural gas, and then alcohol for human consumption, and power sector. So these goods are not covered under the GST. So next we have to see the GST rates. There are 5 slab rates or GST slab rates are there. That is 0%, 5%, 12%, and 18%, and 28%. 0% is applicable for essential items, and 5% for mass consumption, and 12 or 18% for standard rates covering most manufactured items and services, and 28% for consumer durable goods and etc. So these type of GST rate fixed by only the GST Council. So next we have to see the difference between GST and previous tax structure. First we have to see tax included in current GST. See, in current GST, service tax, VAT, central sales tax, entertainment tax, luxury tax, lottery tax, entry tax. These are the taxes included in current GST. Here, tax is excluded in current GST. Electricity duty, toll tax, alcohol consumption, property tax, countervailing duty. These taxes are excluded in the current GST. So these are the difference. So next conclusions. Now I concluded that GST remove the regional disparities in India. It creates the one tax, one nation. GST boost the Make in India, Digital India startup programs.